What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for our AEW Rampage and SmackDown review for November the 5th, 2021. We are 1 week and a day away from Full Gear. The thing people are going to be talking about tonight, it's not Bryan Danielson versus Anthony Bowens. It's not Red Velvet versus The Buddy. It's not Adam Cole versus John Silver. It ain't anything on SmackDown. Tonight, we bear witness to one of the greatest in-ring segments, non-wrestling, of all time. CM Punk going head-to-head, face-to-face with Eddie Kingston. Two masters on the mic, just selling you a match on pay-per-view with a week, with 7 days notice, 8 days notice. That's what you got tonight. My God, what a segment that was. But before we get to that, we have Bryan Danielson versus Anthony Bowens. Now, if you were on Wednesday night show, you realize that this match wasn't advertised. There was nothing about this match that we thought was going to happen. But then Max Caster and Anthony Bowens decided to pick a fight with Tony Khan. Tony Khan has had enough of these guys going out there and just, he's done with them. He is done with them messing with him, challenging him to a match at Full Gear, which of course Tony's like, I am never going to get in the ring. That is not my thing. But here's the thing. If you want to have this match, I'm going to give you this match tonight. And that was Bryan Danielson versus Anthony Bowens. Bryan Danielson is going to go down this year. Is probably the best wrestler of the year. From his time in WWE as Daniel Bryan, having his matches, being in the main event of WrestleMania, to having an awesome match with Cesaro, having a damn good match on his way out with Roman Reigns, to everything that he did in WWE, coming over here, having that lights out match with Kenny Omega, the match with Matt Jackson, I think it was Nick Jackson, whichever one it was, his match with Dustin Rhodes, his match with Eddie Kingston, and then this match tonight, and of course his match on Dark, which I don't think anyone cares about, with Aaron Solo. This guy has not missed yet. There has not been a bad Bryan Danielson match in AEW so far. So this guy is going to be Wrestler of the Year. Was this his best match? By far, no. They only wrestled about 10 minutes, but still, Bryan Danielson went out there and let Anthony Bowens get in a lot more than he probably should have, but he did. Now, before the match happened, as we know last night, and I'm going to talk about this before we get to SmackDown, there were multiple releases in WWE again. I'll get my thoughts on that here in a minute, but I want to get through the AEW stuff first and how bad WWE is this. But as everybody knows, the father-in-law of one Bryan Danielson is John Laurinaitis, because the Bella's mom went out and married him, so that is his father-in-law. So Max Caster, he comes out and he does his raps, and he said he had the clever line of, I ruin careers faster than your father-in-law, which I busted up laughing so much. It wasn't even, I just was losing my shit on that. Just the awesome line. Love to see it. Max Caster is just fan-fucking-tastic on the mic. Now, the match, again, Bryan Danielson giving Anthony Bowens a lot, which Bryan Danielson's going to go out there and he's going to give these men and women a lot to allow us to see how good they are. Bryan Danielson goes out there and he doesn't wrestle his kind of match. No. He'll go out and he'll wrestle your kind of match. What match you want to wrestle and work his way around it. And that's what he did here. Anthony Bowens looked better, and this is what makes Bryan Danielson so good. Anthony Bowens looks better coming out of this match than before he got in this match. That's just going to say that. Of course, Bryan Danielson's not losing a week and a day before he faces Miro in the AEW title eliminator tournament match. Now, I will say that Anthony Bowens got a new move. He does a twisting DDT hanging like with Bryan Danielson hanging on the term in the corner, and just twist him into a DDT, which he calls the Arrival. That's what Ricky Starks said he called it. Beautiful looking move. Hope he does that a lot more in matches that are against Bryan Danielson, and that should be his match ender. That was a move that if you do it and you build it up right, that could be a match ender. So hopefully the Arrival becomes his finisher over time. Bowens gets turned into the LaBelle Lock. Bowens taps out, and the American Dragon earns a victory. Backstage, Tony Schiavone speaks with Andrade El Idolo in the AAA Tag Team Championships. It looks like their partnership is growing each week. FTR calls out Death Triangle before they face the Lucha Bros, wondering, where's Pac? Where were you at? I didn't see you this past week when we screwed Cody. Of course, MJF is like, you get these guys for 2 weeks with more money. So, of course, Jose had to pay MJF money. And he got his stacks of cash and goes off and he's happy and everything. So, Pac is going to have a match with, I think it's Dax Harwood next Wednesday on the Go Home show. Oh, I can't even, justify this thing. So, we're going to get Eddie Kingston and CM Punk. And I'm going to get it to where Eddie comes out because Eddie does not come out with his music. So let's get CM Punk, Eddie Kingston. This is, if you want to watch this, if you're watching this and you're listening to it in the background, when these two are in the ring talking, you drop whatever the fuck you're doing and you let these guys talk. You shut your mouth and you listen to two veterans showing you how to sell a pay-per-view with 1 week build. They have 2 more shows next week on Wednesday, next week on Friday. That is it before we get to the pay-per-view. And they put this they're building to this match tonight. Not next Wednesday, not next Friday, tonight. They don't have to do anything else after this.
He was here last Friday on Rampage when he interrupted me when I was talking to Tony Schiavone. Maybe I just need to talk more because he feels more comfortable being rude to somebody so he can interrupt. Like I said, I knew it. On cue.
Eddie don't need music. Fuck the music.
Kingston last Friday night on Rampage suffered that heartbreaking loss to the American Dragon Bryan Danielson and crossed paths with CM Punk backstage. Punk was expressing an apology.
Damn ads, I swear.
You wanted, that's what you said Wednesday, right?
Come on, you stupid thing.
I love it. Look, I understand it sounds a little bit condescending when somebody asks another man for an apology, but you interrupted me, man. Don't paint me into a corner like I'm the bad guy here. You interrupted me. Yes, I interrupted the great CM Punk. Oh, no. Oh, God. CM Punk. Oh, no. Oh, God. I will apologize. You know what, man? You're right. You're right. I want to apologize that I was at home sick, thinking I had COVID. I had to get tested twice, so I wouldn't come here, God forbid, get my friend Monkey sick, and then he gets his kid sick. But you know what? That doesn't matter, because I need to apologize, because you know what, guys? You didn't get the great CM Punk Virgil Orange Cassidy. I'm sorry. And for you, this is the world's smallest violin, and he's playing for your little ass. So, I apologize to you guys. Who are you? Who are you? Huh? Who are you? Does that sound like much of an apology? You know damn well who I am. I do. I'm telling you, You know who I am, and St. Louis knows who I am. I don't give a so I don't care. I'm going to tell everyone the truth who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a second. This man was once a hero of mine. Guys like him, Samoa Joe, Homicide, the Amazing Red, guys like that on the independent. When I first broke in, inspired me, were my heroes. But you low-life scumbag, two-faced, narcissistic bitch. You, give me a second. You judged me. I came to that locker room to get free from my mental crack, free from the streets. I came to that locker room for brotherhood, and all you did was judge me. Because why? I was fat. Why? Because I like to eat a little bit. Why? Because I didn't play everyone's game. I didn't kiss ass. I didn't become friends with the booker. I didn't bury other people to get my own stuff in. So I was wrong. No, you were wrong. You were wrong. That's what I know. That's the part I know. Do you want to know what I hear right now? I hear you lumping a lot of baggage on me, but you named a couple other people in there. And if you want to know the truth is, it wasn't just me that judged you. It was me, it was Homicide, it was Joe, it was Danielson. And listen, it's a hard pill to swallow, but we judged you and we held you to a standard of the potential that we saw in you. You're the one who fell short of that mark. You can blame me, and you can lose in the middle of the ring to a guy like Bryan Danielson, and then you can walk in the back and you can try to blame me, but it's not my fault. I am not wrong for seeing greatness in you 15 years ago, but I damn sure am a fool for trying to hold you to that standard and expect greatness because you're a bum.
Ooh.
It's too much, in my opinion, anyway.
Eddie Kingston is not one to take a barb like that.
No, he's not. Okay.
I think Kingston did make it personal too, though. He did.
I'm a bum.
He made a valid point.
My man, when a bum main event full gear, when a bum almost have to sell his house because of the pandemic, but keep fighting through to make it to the, hey, this is a shot, the only professional wrestling company in the world today. Is that a bum? Is that a bum? I need you guys to understand this and hear this. And I need you to open up your ears and hear this. Nobody wants you here. They never wanted you here. That whole locker room's afraid to say it. Not me. Stop smirking at me like you did the other day, or I'll smack you right off your face.
It's 15 years of animosity, 15 years of tension.
You know what? I see you getting a little mad. Why don't you fight me on the 13th? Why don't you fight me at full gear?
Simple. Fight Eddie Kingston at full gear. I'll be honest with you, St. Louis. I didn't intend to leave without fighting Eddie Kingston, but Eddie, again, full gear, a little bit high bar for you. I was thinking something like Elevation or Dark. Something more speed.
Oh, no! You're a coward! You're a coward! Fight me! Fight me! Fight me! Fight me! Fight me! Don't fight me! Fight me at full gear! These guys are going to go right now. Forget it. They're going to go. I'm telling you, they're going to go right now. He slapped him right in his face. They're going to go.
I'm going to ask my friends in St. Louis, you want to see CM Punk fight Eddie Kingston at Full Gear? I'll see you on the 13th.
Oh! Wait. Before you leave, I don't care about winning and losing at Full Gear. All I'm going to do is beat you up. And after I'm done beating you up, do me a favor. Quit again and leave for 7 years. And don't...
Oh, God. And then headbutts him. Then they just go fighting, and we have referees come down. We have, like, security come down. We have the dark elevation type guys coming down to try and get these guys to settle down and wait till Full Gear, but they keep fighting. This was fantastic. Honestly, this again is the best non-wrestling segment of the year. Plain and simple. Like, I don't know how those are judged in like award ceremonies or whatnot, but this was fantastic. This is professional wrestling. This is how you sell a match with 1 week to go. WWE has a problem with trying to sell a pay-per-view with 4 or 5 weeks to go. Hell, we're on the way to Survivor Series. We've gone through 2 episodes of Raw and 3 episodes of SmackDown. And we have had hardly any mention of Survivor Series. Yet, they expect us to care when we get to Survivor Series at the end of the month. Whereas these guys went out there and gave you a reason to want to see these two tear each other apart. Damn good fucking segment. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's worth your time. Now backstage, Jurassic Express and Christian Cage are being interviewed when Christian brings up the fact that last Wednesday, the Young Bucks said something about being tough guys. And yeah, he says they might be some of the best out there, have the flippy Cirque du Soleil type flips, but tough guys, I don't know about that. Ask Jurassic Express, both of them, if they want to see how tough these guys really are, and Jungle Boy is like, yeah, and we're going to prove it at Full Gear. We're throwing the challenge down right now. That's Jurassic Express and Christian Cage versus the Super Click in a Falls Count Anywhere match at Full Gear. Interesting. Should be fun. I'm okay with this match. I mean, gets these 6 guys on the card. It's Adam Cole's first pay-per-view. It's Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson will have his first pay-per-view. Christian Cage's first big match since losing to Kenny Omega at the last pay-per-view All Out. And it's going to be very interesting. Full Gear is going to be... I go back and I think about the card for All Out, and it's like how that show went. How are they going to be able to top that show? And so far, they're topping that show. Plain and simple, with what they have on paper, like we already know, that show is going to be fucking insane. Final opening round match of the TBS Championship Tournament, the Bunny versus Red Velvet. This match was... If you went and took a piss for this match, or went and got yourself a sandwich for the main event, or got yourself a drink or two, you didn't miss anything. Bunny gets beat by Red Velvet as she advances in the tournament to eventually get killed by Jade Cargill. This match here between these two was one of the least wanting to see or least important matches on the card in this tournament, because the winner of this match goes on to fight Jade Cargill, and we all know that's going to be maybe about 2 minutes before Jade Cargill wins and moves on to take on Thunder Rosa. You're not going to have the Bunny or Red Velvet beat Jade Cargill. It's just not going to happen. If anybody's going to beat Jade, it's going to be Thunder Rosa. It's going to be somebody like that. But there you go. Red Velvet moves on. And we have no idea when the second round is going to start, because we do have matches for next week. As Pac versus Dax Hardwood on Wednesday. The Faker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel, the 3 bimbos, take on Conti, Anna Jay, and Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa and Jamie Hayter, of course, going to be taking each other on one-on-one whenever that match is going to happen. Clearly is not going to happen on Wednesday because they're in a 6-woman tag match. Matt Sydal and Lee Moriarty will take on Dante Martin and Leo Rush. Leo Rush making his Wednesday night in-ring debut. And then Bryan Danielson versus Rocky Romero from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Rocky Romero has one, maybe two matches from Dark Elevation. When he was sitting in the crowd when I believe Hikuleo had that title match against Lance Archer. Rocky Romero was in the crowd. He was there for Dark Elevation, one of those two. So he's coming back to take on Bryan Danielson, and this will be Bryan Danielson's first sanctioned New Japan match as he's taking on, second sanctioned, because I think it should be sanctioned New Japan because it is a New Japan guy versus Bryan Danielson. This is, of course, he did take on Minoru Suzuki in a fantastic match as well. This should be fun. Rocky Romero, always a delight to see. He is a good worker when he's needed, and can't wait to see what they do with him. Adam Cole versus John Silver. This match is happening basically because on BTE over the last few weeks, they've been doing a skit where John Silver and Alex Reynolds have been making fun and trying to poke fun at WWE because the rumor, of course, was, and Adam Cole made this known, that they wanted to cut his hair, they wanted to change his name, and he didn't agree. He didn't make known that they wanted him to be a manager, but the first two things they did. So John Silver's been suggesting Adam Cole should cut his hair, rename himself Budge, and be the Dark Order's manager. And that's what this match is leading to. This was a fantastic professional wrestling main event. Now, the story in this match was Adam Cole's, how he is reeling still from the concerto from Christian Cage. Early on, Adam Cole is in the middle of the ring with him, and John Silver's like, hold on. Gets down, look, he's gonna do Adam Cole, baby, but he just pops up and flexes the biceps. So Adam Cole gives him a fucking pump kick to the face, tosses him to the one side of the ring. He snap mess over on the apron and locks in, and just he gets up, and I honestly thought he tripped over, he was gonna fuck his knee up because he did trip over John Silver, but they played it off as he ate a concerto two days ago, and he's out here having a match, which is ballsy as shit, and he's not completely 100% in this match. And I'm telling you what, Adam Cole took a lot, and I mean a lot of abuse to that head and neck. He took he got kicks to the head, couple kicks to the head. He took a German, I believe it was, that landed him square on his head and neck area. It was not pretty at all. Not pretty at all. But, of course, you got the Young Bucks who were out there, did get to do the kiss to Adam Cole's side of his face. I don't know why they do that, when that started, probably in Ring of Honor, of course. But, yeah. That was being... so they got to do that. Now, the Dark Order came out after the Young Bucks got a little bit too helpful with Adam Cole. As Adam Cole looked like he was going to get pinned. One of the Bucks comes in and pulls the leg of Adam Cole blatantly in front of the ref, which is Rick Knox. Rick Knox, of course, is, I don't know if it's a variable way what they do with him, but Rick Knox is portrayed as the dumbest referee in professional wrestling. My God. But the Dark Order come out and they go away. Looks like Adam Cole's gonna, and this looked very stupid because John Silver is standing to where he's facing the way the Bucks and the Dark Order are looking. Adam Cole is trying to position himself behind him, and John Silver is looking to the side, trying to make sure Adam Cole's in the right position for him to catch the low blow. It looked very, very, just stupid. It looked really stupid. But he does catch it. He does give him a shot to Dick Kick City. Puts him down. 1-2 kick out. Eventually, Adam Cole is able to get a couple kicks in, takes him down, hits the boom, and gets to 1-2-3. Adam Cole is your winner, and he should be winning because they do have that 6-man tag team match coming up next Saturday at Full Gear. and he shouldn't be losing. Damn good fucking main event. Outside of the women's match, which was meh, this was a damn good episode of Rampage. Bryan Danielson, Anthony Bowens, great opener. The CM Punk, Eddie Kingston thing, that is going to go down in history as one of the greatest talking segments in all of professional wrestling. If some people want to disagree, then at least in company history, show history, Rampage, and in the last 10 years. Nothing WWE has given us in the last 10 years has touched what those two did. Just go back and look at WrestleMania. Look at Royal Rumble. Look at every pay-per-view this past year. And if you don't want to count the scamdemic, you want to go for post Money in the Bank on. Nothing they did got you excited for a match or a pay-per-view than you saw right here. Just no comparison. Rampage, good show. Women's match, meh, it's whatever. Now we go to SmackDown, and they're in the Ford Center in Evansville, Indiana, as Michael Cole welcomes us. He's joined by ringside by Pat McAfee. When the Bloodline makes their way to the ring, and yes, Roman Reigns is here this week after taking what they called a vacation. Which, yeah, with how much Roman Reigns is carrying this fucking company on his back, which, gee, look back in 2019 and tell me if you thought you'd ever hear anybody say Roman Reigns is carrying this company on his back. They come out and Roman Reigns talks about being gone last week, and that pretty much like he said, well, if I'm not here, this show sucks just as much as Monday Night Raw, and absolutely it does. Monday Night Raw is fucking atrocious, and last week was just a nothing happening show, boring as fuck show. And it's kind of hilarious because WWE had... Oh yeah, let's talk about that first. I forgot to mention that, but let's talk about that first. Let's get back out of the SmackDown thing for a minute. We got to talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday, we're just like, it wasn't even one of those things. It's just like, we come to this, we're just like, yesterday, it wasn't even when it happened, but all day, WrestleVotes and all these other sources were saying that there are going to be yesterday, just releases. And the day before, the chief, like the guy who, like all the graphics and all the stuff that like you see that makes WWE Raw and SmackDown have the identity, this guy was in charge of them, and he got fired. He was gone. He's out of here. Which he was around for 15 years. And not there anymore. Which to a lot of people just showed that nobody is safe. Now, I would love to say that that's the truth, but there are people in WWE that are safe. Roman's not going anywhere. Vince McMahon would have to die before he would let Roman Reigns leave and go anywhere else. Charlotte 9000 is safe as safe can be at this time. Of course, Kevin Dunn's safe. He's not going anywhere. Vince McMahon would have to die before Kevin Dunn would be excommunicated from the WWE. But there were so many like lost jobs yesterday. 18 to be exact. And it was not a pretty day for many, many people. That list of Zeta Raymer, no idea. Trey Baxter, whose girlfriend Cora Jade is still part of NXT 2.0. I have no idea who Zeta is, but Trey Baxter just falls under the line of he's too old and WWE doesn't think they can do anything with him. Scarlett Bordeaux, and I saw this. I didn't see anyone else get released, but I saw like Scarlett was released, and I'm like, wow, well, you know where she's at because we haven't seen her since before Karrion Kross made his debut on Monday Night Raw. Oni Lorcan, who actually went on YouTube as Biff Busick, his other name, which, terrible name. And he announced that he has a 90-day no-compete clause. The biggest shocker of this entire thing was Nia Jax. Nia Jax, the cousin of The Rock. Nia Jax, who has held on to her job for years after being reckless and careless with many, many talents, injuring Kairi Sane, injuring Bayley, injuring Becky Lynch, breaking Becky Lynch's face, which is the only one of those that was actually any positive, because if she didn't break Becky Lynch's face, that triple threat main event at WrestleMania in 2019 does not happen. Because Becky Lynch was going to go to Survivor Series, and she was going to get choked out and tapped out to fucking Ronda Rousey. That was the plan. Then that was the only injury that Nia Jax actually gets away with, because it actually helped create the man Becky Lynch. Mia Yim, we haven't seen her since she walked out on Retribution. Lince Dorado, not surprised. He wanted out anyway. Katarina Cortez, okay, she was partnered with Sin Cara for a minute, then disappeared. Jessica Maya, Jeet Rama, Harry Smith, who had the very first match, a dark match, in front of the live crowd when WWE came back from the Thunderdome. Never seen him on TV. Didn't do anything with him. Grand Metalik wanted out. That was obvious. Frankie Monet. Why was she in NXT for as long as she was? Frankie Monet should have had a cup of coffee in NXT, maybe about 3 months, and then she should have been on the main roster. Eva Marie, thank the Lord she's gone, because that you think I'm gonna shed a tear for Eva Marie? You think I'm gonna cry and be upset because Eva Marie has been fired by WWE? That bitch didn't even belong on television. She didn't belong in WWE. She is an actress pretending to think that she can actually do anything. She brought the show down. She hurt everybody's momentum. She christened Piper Niven a derogatory name that she still is going to be using, which is fucking stupid. And it's definitely one of those ones that's like, yeah, goodbye. Ember Moon. Ember Moon had a pretty good run in NXT the first time around. Yeah, she had a token title reign, which, if I'm going to be honest, was only given to her because Asuka left, and Asuka wasn't around for her to face because she couldn't beat Asuka. But she had a token title reign, that's fine. And then she came into the main roster. They did almost absolutely nothing with her. Maybe she faced Bayley once at a SummerSlam or a pay-per-view, and that was it. Got injured, wanted to go back down in NXT, came back down to NXT, reinvented herself, teamed up with Shotzi Blackheart. They were the second ever NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Then Shotzi was brought to the main roster to team with Tegan, which we'll talk about that here in a bit. And she was a Triple H proponent. She was built up and created and done by Triple H. When 2.0 started, and Triple H was no longer had any power in NXT, which do you think Ember Moon would even be around anymore? Ember Moon was not liked by Bruce Pritchard, not by John Laurinaitis, and not by Vince McMahon. They didn't get her. They didn't like her. They didn't think they could produce anything for her. So when they took over NXT where it is today, did you really think that she was going to be around anymore? She was done right then and there. Be fab. So, Dalla, I see that tweet of yours is aging really well. You know, the tweet that came out right after they were called up to the main roster on draft night 1, and he's like, we're going to make it because we could promo. Other people failed because they couldn't promo, and he just started talking shit, acting like they were going to be the best. They were going to get all these, they were going to get to do whatever the fuck they want, say whatever the fuck they want. They weren't going to lose their jobs because they're hit row. 1 down, 3 to go. Top note, Dollar, how's that tweet working out for you? You need to go online and apologize to everyone, you stupid fucking fat ass. I skipped 2 out because they are the 2 biggest names, Karrion Kross and Keith Lee. Karrion Kross was DOA the minute he stepped on the main roster and lost to Jeff Hardy while he was the NXT champion. You know what kind of message that sent to fans of NXT? The 50 or so that you still had around that mattered, those fans? It said, hey, you want to watch NXT? Well, here's the champion. He's a loser. So make sure to tune in to NXT tomorrow and watch a bunch of losers. So he lost to Jeff Hardy. If Jeff Hardy wouldn't have caught COVID or had something to do with COVID the next week, he was going to lose again. He was going to lose and lose and lose and lose and lose. Until apparently they were going to bring Scarlett in to unleash that monster that was known as Karrion Kross. Then the Monday after he lost the NXT Championship to Samoa Joe, who has vanished off the face of the earth and will be probably fired in the next round of cuts. I'm really surprised he wasn't fired this time, which would have been a record, being fired twice in the same year, but that's neither here nor there. And they gave him suspenders and a fucking Shredder mask, which, by the way, he's gone on to denounce and say that was a piece of shit, which, yes, it was. They had nothing from Karrion Kross from day one. They were going to bring him up. They were going to embarrass him. They were going to use him as a way to embarrass Triple H and anybody who thought that these guys could be big stars. Then you have Keith Lee. Keith Lee, I've seen Keith Lee in pre WWE times. Keith Lee in NXT, when him and Dominik Dijakovic was sitting there burning, like tearing the house down every single time those two men went out there and had a match. He comes up to the main roster, day one, new music. Why? CFOs made Keith Lee's music, so WWE had to change his music, or they'd have to pay CFO a nice rich sum to using that music. That's why a lot of people lose their music when they come up from NXT. Anybody who still has a CFO's theme in NXT, if they come up to the main roster, they're not going to have that theme anymore. It's just not going to happen, because WWE gave CFOs a lot of fucking, I think a big percentage of money if the music gets used on the main roster, and WWE doesn't want to pay that. So he gets new music, comes out wearing a skirt, comes out with a singlet on, makes this guy, he comes up, wrestles like Keith Lee, sounds a little bit like Keith Lee, a little scripted, but still sounds a little bit like Keith Lee. Vince McMahon orders Keith Lee and other big men to come to the Performance Center and learn how to wrestle like a Mark Henry, a Big Slow, a Kane, and to kill anything that made Keith Lee Keith Lee. Goes away and almost dies from COVID complications. His girlfriend, his fiance, puts her career on hold to help take care of this man. Was supposed to be in the Royal Rumble, apparently decided I'm not going to go do that, which doesn't make any sense because she was still on TV until February. So that timeline doesn't even make sense. But he died. He comes back, squashes Akira Tozawa, disappears for a couple more weeks, comes back as Bearcat Keith Lee. And all these WWE stands are like, this was his idea. He's just paying homage to Bearcat Wright, one of the first ever major black wrestlers back in the day. Oh, by the way, that Bearcat name was not Keith Lee's idea. Keith Lee confirmed that on social media last night. So anybody who thought that this was his idea, the guy who's been Keith Lee his entire fucking career, came to WWE as just Keith Lee, came up to the main roster as Keith Lee. You expect me to believe that this man was going to go out there and go, you know what? I want to be called Bearcat Keith Lee. I want to go pay homage to Bearcat Wright. Give me a fucking break. If anybody seriously thought that Keith Lee came up with the Bearcat nickname for himself, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. Then he comes out with bear claws that are purple, Bearcat on his tights, just being everything that wasn't Keith Lee. Just destroying people, being slow and methodical instead of being what Keith Lee was. All I know is Revolution 2022 better have Keith Lee making his debut. If they have a Casino Battle Royal, a casino something, ladder match or whatever at Revolution, Keith Lee's the Joker, plain and simple. And we'd see Keith Lee that we haven't seen since his NXT days, or Keith Lee before NXT. Even though when Keith Lee was NXT, You didn't like the Keith Lee from NXT was the same Keith Lee that you saw in the Indies, just turned up to 11 and given the WWE shine. So if anybody still thinks that Triple H is in charge of NXT and that Vince McMahon doesn't hate NXT, Triple H's version of NXT, look at everyone who was fired last night. Keith Lee, Oni Lorcan, Mia Yim, Lindsay Dorado, Grand Metalik, Karrion Kross, Frankie Monet, Ember Moon, B-Fab, who just apparently signed her SmackDown contract, her new contract to get more money and to be put into a 90-day no-to-compete clause last fucking week. And now she's gone. And one of the last things that Triple H did for NXT was put Hit Row together. That was one of the last things he did, was get those three men and her all together as a group. And now it's down to being just another three-man group. You got the Bloodline, you got Hit Row, New Day when all three are together. And I feel like there's two possible reasons why they fired B-Fab. One, because they see Naomi, they see B-Fab, and they're like, well, we have Naomi. B-Fab just looks like a knockoff Naomi. Why would we have both of these? And we're sure as hell not going to fire Naomi because we're not going to fire Jimmy, even though we should have fired Jimmy after he got caught with a DUI for the 5th fucking time in his career. But no, or there was talk that 4 or 5 people were fired because of the COVID vaccine they weren't vaccinated. Nia Jax was called out for being not vaccinated. And that's the only one we know of. So there's a possibility that maybe V-Fab is not vaccinated and they fired her for that. We don't really know. Of course, the line is budgetary reasons, which is total bullshit. Everybody knows that it's total bullshit. And here's the thing. You know what also happened yesterday? WWE announcing their quarterlies for the 3rd quarter since we're in quarter 4 now. And they touted record-breaking profits. So anybody who believes that budget cuts is the actual reason they fired these men and women, you have to be the biggest fucking idiots out there. There's no fucking reason that you need to cut anybody. There was no reason they needed to cut anybody at all this year, with the fact that they're still making banging money. They're making record profits every single quarter this year. And yet they had to fire half of pretty much half of the. Why? Because something's going on. I don't know what that something is, but it feels like they're going to be fired. They've got to be selling. That's all I got to think is they've got to be selling. Or they might not be selling. They may not be in the selling contract negotiations to sell. But Nick Khan wants to make sure that if somebody comes with the right price, they'll be able to sell like that. They won't have to think twice about it. And that is what they're trying to do. And that's the only thing I can think they're trying to do. But 18 people lost their jobs. Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Mia Yim, definitely going to be somewhere else. Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, I could see working in New Japan, going back to Impact with Scarlett, who only has a 30-day no-compete, so she could show up in Impact next month if she wants to. Yeah, that is what's going on. I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but Nia Jax, it's been a long time coming. He should have never been on the payroll. And everyone else, it's just like I can't be happy about anyone losing their job, but there are some people that you couldn't how do you screw up Scarlett and Karrion Kross? Marketability. All you needed to do was have this big, tough, badass Karrion Kross with his woman on his arm and a championship in the other. How could you not market that? How is that not marketable? His wife is fucking hot. He's got a championship. The dude looks like he's made out of fucking granite. That's all you needed. Maybe you want to put him in a suit. She's on one arm. He's got the other. He's got the championship on his other. That's fucking marketability right there. That's all you needed. Just, it's gonna be like this until Vince McMahon and Nick Khan finally weed out everybody they want to weed out from the Triple H era of NXT. We're gonna look at these talents and we're gonna go, how do you fuck them up? How did you fuck up Karrion Kross? How did you fuck up Ember Moon? How did you fuck up Keith Lee? That's all we're going to see time and time again. How do you fuck these guys up? There's so much talent that has been released this year that if you actually, because just look at SmackDown. SmackDown last week was fucking boring. It was atrocious. There's nothing happened. I'm surprised that FS1 had its highest ratings for SmackDown last week with a nothing happening show. It's kind of funny how they put effort in to go head to head with Rampage the first time this last month, where they got beaten the key demo, but they don't try. And by the way, Rampage did beat SmackDown in the replay. Just want to tell you that right now. Anybody thinks that, oh, well, SmackDown went 3 times. They went and had 2 replays or 3 replays after. In the head-to-head and Rampage versus the replay of SmackDown, Rampage killed them. We don't have the numbers for that replay because I don't think those numbers get posted unless you find like the Fast Nationals or whatever. But what Roman was gone last week. He went and had a vacation, as they called it, as he did this whole promo thing. That was 1 week. What if that wasn't a vacation? What if Roman Reigns had to walk out here tonight, relinquish the Universal Championship, and go away for a year because of leukemia, an injury, like tears his ACL? What if Roman Reigns goes down? This company is fucked. They have nobody. You can't just call a Brock Lesnar up and like, hey, Brock, we're going to put the title back on you because we have nobody else. Drew McIntyre, love the guy as a professional wrestler, love the guy for the talent he is. He's not the guy. Clearly, the next guy, the guy who's going to beat Roman Reigns if WWE and Vince McMahon have their way, is most likely either Braun Breaker or Solo Sikoa, his fucking cousin. One of those two are going to be the man built up between NXT and coming to the main roster to beat Roman Reigns. That's the only thing you could say about that. But in the meantime, if Roman goes down, they got nobody. It's like, just look at AEW. Kenny Omega. If Kenny Omega had to go down to an injury, had to relinquish that championship, they had to put a big tournament on to have the finals at Full Gear. Look at what you have. Let's say Jon Moxley didn't go to rehab and Jon Moxley's still in the picture. Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, CM Punk, Matt Sydal. Yes, Matt Sydal would be great for a tournament. Is he going to win the thing? No, but he would be a great piece for a tournament. Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Cody, even though I know Cody, heel Cody, for sure. Pac, Andrade, Malachi Black, Dustin Rhodes could be in a tournament. I'm not saying win, but in a tournament. That was like 11 people I just named there. Penta, Phoenix, all on the layout. They could be in a title tournament and go to the finals maybe. That's 13 people right there. And yes, not all of them are going to be up there and be in that championship match. But if you're doing a big tournament, all those men I just named, and you could probably think of a couple others. MJF, Hangman Adam Page, Matt, Nick Jackson, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage, Adam Cole. That's almost 20 people right there. All of them could be in a tournament to build up and give us a new champion. You got that on SmackDown. You don't have that on SmackDown. SmackDown would probably do some fucking battle royal. You'd put, like, Brock Lesnar would come out halfway through the battle royal when it's down to like 4 or 5 people, or 2 or 3 people, throw both of the people out, all 3 people out, and win the Universal Championship, and we be back to Brock holding the championship off TV, and SmackDown going without a champion up until WrestleMania, and the show would just sink lower and lower and lower in the viewership, lower and lower and lower in quality, and nobody's going to care after that. That's just how it is. So, like WWE's got problems, and just firing people to fire people doesn't help. Ricochet, I'm surprised still has a job because he doesn't meet any of the criteria the WWE wants in their talent. Is he tall? No. Is he young? No. How's he still got a job? I don't know. Only few people have any type of job security on the roster. Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, the Usos, the New Day, Bobby Lashley, more than likely, definitely. Seth Rollins, Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Bayley, Edge, and that's about it, really. If they could fire the rest of the company, the rest of the roster, and just have 11 people, and that's about it. I feel bad for those at 2K22 who delayed the game. You know why 2K22 was delayed and not come out this year when it usually does? Why, it's all because of all those roster cuts that we've had this year. And they got Keith Lee in there, they got Karrion Kross in there, they probably have Mia Yim in there, they have Eva Marie probably in there too, even though I think people would play with Eva Marie just to beat the shit out of her with somebody else. Nia Jax was probably in there too. And all of them have now the 2K dev team have to go back in there and deprogram these guys out. Go into the moveset's not going to be a problem because they just keep those. They'll just rename them to something else. They'll be like for Nia Jax, it'll be like not like most girls or the immovable object or whatever the hell her nickname was, just like that. Or Keith Lee, they'll probably do like the Bearcat moveset. That's not the thing, but like season mode, GM mode's coming back. You know they're gonna have situations and certain special dialogue for each one of these characters. Nope, gotta take those characters out. Have to rewrite all that shit. Get rid of anything that has to do with any of the talent who've been released over the last year since April. We didn't have any cuts in January, none in February, none in March, but April, it was like open season, let's get rid of some talent. And every single cut, I'm pretty sure the guys out there working in 2K land probably had to go out there and just they're throwing furniture. It's not easy for them. 2K22 might as well just be a relic of the past and just be canceled. Because 2K22 is going to be Roman, the Usos, and a bunch of legends by the time this thing gets there. Plain and simple. Alright, let's talk about SmackDown here. This was a nothing happening show. The Bloodline came out. Roman Reigns not happy about what happened last week with the Usos. He asked Paul Heyman, what happened last week? Paul Heyman just fidgeting his words, talking about how Kayla kept bothering him about Brock Lesnar and about Brock Lesnar being suspended and stuff. And then he's like, didn't something else happen last week? He's fumbling his words again, trying not to get to the point. And he's like, the Usos had a match with the New Day last week. And Roman's like, who lost that match? And who won that match? And Paul Heyman's like, the New Day won that match and the Usos got beat. Roman's not happy about this. He wonders which one of you fools lost the match. Jimmy gets singled out for losing the match last week. And he's asking, how are you going to fix this? Jimmy's like, I got you. Like I said last week, I'm going to knock this crown off this guy's head and beat him and make him acknowledge Roman Reigns. Out come the New Day and Xavier Woods or King Woods, whatever you want to say. He has a challenge for Mr. Reigns. After the course, he makes fun of the whole head of the table, the island of relevancy, and all that stuff. He's like, okay, so I take on Jimmy the Knight. If I lose, I have no problem acknowledging you as the tribal chief. However, if Jimmy loses, I want him to bend the knee. The Usos are trying to say, you know what, guys, we're not going to bend the knee. We don't bend the knee to nobody. Roman wants the mic, and Roman says the bloodline accepts. So that is your main event, because again, let's have rematch of Mania over here, and let's have the Usos versus the New Day for the 6,795th time. When you had Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza come out last week and interrupt and cost the match between the Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs versus Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin, you could have those guys come out. You could have those guys go out there and interrupt the New Day and have ourselves a fresh new feud. I am kind of tired of seeing the New Day versus the Usos in one shape or form. I'm just so tired of it. We've seen it every single year. It seems like almost every single year since 2017. What they did in 2017 was a great feud. You cannot recapture that lightning in a bottle. And then here we go again. That's what we're going to get. So then we see what happened between Naomi and Shayna Baszler last week, and Sonya Deville being a special referee and pretty much screwing Naomi. So what are we going to have this week? That's right. Naomi versus Shayna Baszler. Now, Caleb Braxton is in the office of Sonya Deville asking about what this personal vendetta is against Naomi. Deville says, "What personal vendetta? I ain't got none of that." And she asks Caleb, "Have you ever seen Naomi with so much passion or fire? Have you seen Naomi with this much confidence before? Because I lit a fire under her. So let's see what she can do. If Naomi can win, maybe I will challenge her to a singles match one day." So yes, they are pretty much building this as Naomi's own, she doesn't have any personal vendetta against her. She's trying to light a fire under her to get her to be better, more passionate. What? Hey, WWE had no real reason why Sonya Deville should be angry or pissed off or mad at Naomi. So let's just say, oh, I'm pushing her to get better. Yeah, no. So the match was a match. And Naomi comes back in with the sunset flip, but Baszler kicks out and goes right into a kill for the clutch. Naomi breaks the hold, getting the ropes, but Baszler takes advantage of the 5 count. Naomi comes right back and rolls Baszler up for the 1, 2, 3, and it's like, oh, Naomi won. She won. Wow, she won with a quick roll up. Oh, no. Deville comes out and says, "Nobody's leaving that ring until I make my remarks." Deville says, "Naomi, you might have got the pin, but you grabbed the rope right before the pin," which means the hold should have been released and the pin should not have counted. But she has no choice but to restart the match. Naomi is pissed. The bell rings. Baszler comes from behind, puts the carefully clutch in. Naomi taps out immediately, and it's over. Shayna Baszler wins. What is the fucking point of this? It's gone past, I'm pushing you and I'm doing this to you to try and light a fire under your ass. This is way past that, plain and simple. Roman Reigns is ranting about how it takes one vacation and SmackDown sucks. It's almost as bad as Raw, which, I'm sorry, Roman, nothing is as bad as Raw, but yeah, pretty close. Jimmy laughs and Reigns is like, "You think this is a joke? You think this is funny?" Jimmy apologizes, but Reigns is upset and he gets Jimmy's face. Reigns asks Jimmy Uso what they don't do, and that's lose because they are the ones. He hypes him up and avoids encouragement. Then leaves with Jimmy as Reigns looks on. Well, Jay hypes him up. And of course, we see Shotzi attack Sasha Banks last week. Shotzi will be here in a second to talk about what happened. Then we get a vignette for coming soon, Xia Li. When is she making her debut? She has been drafted for a month. She has been getting vignettes for almost a month. And what are they doing with her? Give me something. When is she making her debut? Caleb Braxton is backstage with Blue Brand newcomer Ridge Holland, asking what he's most looking forward to on SmackDown. Holland can't wait to meet his idol, the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. He says Sheamus is tough and rugged and handles his business like he does, and would fit perfectly back home. He goes on about how everyone at his local pub used to watch Sheamus when he had a big match, including his WWE title win over John Cena, the Royal Rumble win, and so on. He says Sheamus is an inspiration for him, and that's awful news for the rest of SmackDown. Colin taps his baton a few times and walks off. So we teasing a new tag team between Ridge Holland and Sheamus. I don't know. I'd rather see the Bar make a return because Cesaro's doing absolutely shit nothing. So we see what happened between Showbot 9000 and Shotzi Blackheart last week. And he snapped on Sasha and blamed Sasha for the loss because, quite honestly, it was Sasha's fault. Why Sasha was up on the apron was beyond me. She should have got down almost immediately, but that cost Shotzi the match. And Shotzi was justified in that attack. As she's asked, she's like, I've had enough. I've had enough. I've lost title opportunities, my tag team partner. I've lost the support of the WWE Universe. And thanks last week, she lost the biggest match of her entire career. I will not smile and pretend everything is okay any longer, and says Banks' patronizing attitude was her breaking point, and now Banks is her target. She says she'll run over Banks and anyone else who gets in her way, and she doesn't need a tank to do it, and walks off. So you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? The taking care of the TCB tank is gone. It is done. That is it for it. That is it. It is done. She's not, like, when Shotzi comes out for her next match, she's walking to the ring, I guarantee you. Why else would she say she doesn't need a tank to do that? Big question for this. What was this way she was standing? She, like, had her arms, like, behind her back, and she just, like, chest is pushed out, and she's looking to the side, talking to the commentator. What the hell was that? Why is she not looking, looking at the interviewer? I think it's Kayla Braxton, right? Why is she not, like, turned to the side, talking to Kayla? Why is she got, like, her chest puffed out, and she's, like, turning her head? It looks so unnatural. Like, who told, oh, that's right, Vince McMahon probably told her to look like that. That looked terrible. Like, that was honestly, like, one of the most painful looking segments, and the fucking heel stuff felt so forced. Yes, lost title opportunities because WWE forgot, hey, her and Tegan won, not one, but two title contender matches against the tag team champions at the time, and they didn't give them a title match. Why they broke them up? That's because WWE don't like tag team wrestling, and women's tag team wrestling is meh at best. I wonder how many people are going to be pissed off when Shotzi Blackheart doesn't come out with a tank anymore, because that's a babyface thing. That's not a heel thing. That's a babyface toy. You don't come out on a tank like that as a heel. We'll see what happens with Shotzi. Moving on. Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, who are now known as Los Lotharios. Okay, at least they got a tag team name. Taking on Mansoor and Cesaro. Why is Cesaro teaming with Mansoor? You got Sheamus on this brand with Cesaro. Put the Bar back together, because Cesaro's not going to be doing anything anymore as a singles guy of importance. And here you go with Mansoor. Why did you put these guys in the tag team? Short, sweet, to the point about this. Los Lotharios win the match. Basement drop kick to Cesaro with the Muda Lock held on. 1, 2, 3. They win. Moving on. Jeff Hardy's backstage with Aaliyah, who got drafted to SmackDown, and I think this is her first appearance, first talking segment, as they're talking about riding a horse. Hardy introduces Kayla to Aaliyah. Aaliyah walks off to let them have an interview, but Jeff apologizes and stops Kayla so he can follow Aaliyah as he sees her stop and talk to Sami Zayn, who's apparently harassing her. Sami tells Aaliyah it's all about appearances here, and that she should show people she means business by wearing a pantsuit. Okay. He walks off, and Aaliyah asks Hardy, is Sami always like that? He says, yes. Welcome to SmackDown. What are you doing, huh? What is Aaliyah doing? Like, you bring her up to the main roster, and this is all you got for her. Drew McIntyre versus Drew McIntyre is doing his open challenges. Why? I don't know. But he brings out, and this time it's Ricochet, who says that Drew's playing with fire. That someday, someone's going to come out here, get into this ring, and slap you across the face. So Ricochet slaps him across the face. Bell rings. Drew kills this guy. Throws him around like a rag doll. Ricochet does get some moves in, but Ricochet goes for a moonsault in the corner Drew McIntyre hits him with the Claymore kick during the mid-air spot and gets the pin and the win. I'll say it now and I'll say it any other time. When he ate a super kick from Adam Cole doing pretty much the same exact spot, definitely was better looking than this. Barely got that hit anyway. Cole Braxton approaches the New Day backstage about tonight's main event. They cut a promo on Jimmy Uso and how Uso will be forced to bend the knee to King Woods. Kofi does the All Hail King Wood chant as Woods dances to end the segment. Don't really care. Happy talk with Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss, and they have the Viking Raiders. Back from break, Mustafa Ali is backstage with Ricochet. He suggests, you know what, next week we should team up. They complement each other, he says, and Ricochet's like, no. Ali's like, but why, man? Ricochet says because Ali isn't a winner, he's a whiner who makes excuses and always points fingers. And quite simply, you are a jerk. You look what happened last time you had a partner, you treated him like trash. And I want none of that. I went and took a shit during this entire segment. I didn't give a fuck about Madcap Moss. The only people laughing at the jokes that Madcap Moss is doing are Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, Joey Laurinaitis, and Michael Cole. Nobody finds this shit funny. Nobody. Viking Raiders fans boo the joke because it's terrible. They begin destroying the set. Corbin and Moss retreat to the floor. We go to commercial break. We come back. It's the Viking Raiders versus Corbin and Moss. Do you think I gave a shit about this match? Hell no. I don't give a shit about Corbin. I've never given a shit about Corbin since he left NXT. Well, he actually felt like somebody who was going to do big things, came up to the main roster and has been shit ever since. But Raiders win as Corbin and Moss walk away because Moss was about to get killed and get splatted so badly that you're going to need a spatula, a metal spatula to get him off the mat. They run away because Corbin and Moss want nothing to do with them, and that is that. Hey, look, shit row down one member because B-Fab got fired. Top dollar, no dollar, AJ Francis, Ashanti, the Adonis, and Isaiah Swift Scott. Welcome, Sami Zayn welcomes them to SmackDown and says as a locker room leader, sometimes he has to tell people they need here and the entrance a few weeks ago was flat. Actually, it was. It sucked. Actually, it did. It says, not to knock on B-Fab or anything, but when she did have her mic, when she did have her time to talk during that entrance, I got the biggest fucking headache in the world. I don't know what it was, but she cannot promo, and honestly, she can go off and do something else because honestly, she sucked. Sami says they could be big players here on SmackDown, especially Top Dollar. He could be a pillar on the brand, but they need some work, some finessing. Dollar asks Sami Zayn if he can show us what he means with the proper entrance. Sami says he can do that. He heads off, telling them to get ready, take notes, and follow him. Hurt Row laughs, Sami rushing off back to commercial. We get a highlight package of Monday Night Raw. Who gives a shit? I hate that they do this. I watch Monday Night Raw. I don't need a fucking reminder of Monday Night Raw and how shitty it is. We go back to the stage, and out comes Sami Zayn. He kicks and marches around, apparently showing Hit Row. Shit Row. How to do a proper entrance. Sami takes the mic and says, that's how it's done. That's how you do it, kids. It's called being fearless, having presence, being in the present, which you need to be on SmackDown locker room. Sami says Hit Row can have those same qualities with his leadership. He goes on and calls the fans to give a big SmackDown welcome to Shit Row. Out comes Isaiah Swift Scott, No Dollar, AJ Francis, and Ashanti the Adonis. They say Sami thinks he runs Hit Row, but they wouldn't let him run their bathwater. Dollar declares that Sami sucks. They start a Sami sucks chant from the crowd. Sami says that's fine if you don't want his help. He goes to leave, but they have the entranceway blocked. Sami says he didn't come to fight. They finally let him pass, and Sami says he won't forget this. They laugh. They say, if you didn't know, now you know, and celebrate, which was meh. Well, I don't see these guys. I don't see, the next round of cuts, I could see Swerve or Ashanti the Adonis being cut next, because Shit Row is just going to be probably down to a tag team next time we come around for all this. The Bloodline is backstage before the main event. Usos head out, and Jimmy asks Roman if he's coming out to the ring with them. He says, how many of your problems do I have to fix around here? In a very threatening voice. He had that voice of yeah, I'm not going to ask you to help me. And it's you know the voice. It's like, how many times do I have to tell you? And you're just like, yeah, you back off, you leave him alone. King Woods versus Jimmy Uso. This was, like I said, Xavier Woods, out of 3 members of the New Day, Xavier Woods is definitely highly underrated. But I'm tired of seeing these two teams face each other. We've seen it for years now. You have a new tag team in Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza who need wins against legitimate teams. Why couldn't you have them go up against the New Day? Yes, I know they will probably lose because you don't really want to have Xavier Woods losing matches at King already. I think that would be stupid. So, of course, he wins this match with a roll-up, hair pulled tights, he gets the win. The music hits, the New Day celebrate the big pop, which, by the way, Xavier Woods came out to new music, and it wasn't the New Day music. The first time he's done that since New Day formed. The Usos are not happy as the Woods was referee, but they stopped them from leaving. Mike Rome announces that Jimmy must bend the knee and pay homage to the King Woods. King Woods puts the crown on, brings his scepter to the ring, and tells him to bend the knee as the fans start chanting, bend the knee, bend the knee. Like in the style of New Day Rocks. Jimmy says no way, but the referee tells him he must follow the stipulation. Jimmy is slowly getting to bend the knee. Woods points the scepter at him. Universal Champion Roman Reigns flies into the ring and drops Woods with a big Superman punch. The Bloodline unload on the New Day as fans boo. They're focusing on Kofi while Woods comes from behind on Reigns. They fight and the Usos drop Woods with a double super kick. We want Lesnar chant now. Good grief, you didn't think you'd hear that in 2021. Reigns levels Kofi with a huge spear. The Bloodline stand tall, and the Usos double team Kofi. And rechristen and bring back how they turned heel in 2016 by focusing on. They did this to Chad Gable, if I'm correct, during a tag team tournament match when they lost. They just destroyed Chad Gable's knee. That's what they did here. Jay holds Kofi down in a single crowd while Jimmy goes to the top for a splash down on the knee. While Reigns holds Woods down and makes him watch. The boos get louder. Reigns grabs the title belt and kneels down to talk more trash to Woods, threatening him if he decides to show up next week. Reigns and says, I will show you what a real king looks like. He even mentioned how you trying to cheat the Bloodline. Man, you don't cheat the Bloodline while this beatdown was going on. So are we getting, and I don't know how I feel about this, but is there a possibility we're getting Xavier Woods versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title? One off. No way they're going to do this more than once. But it looks like because they battered and destroyed Kofi Kingston's knee. Are we getting Xavier Woods versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship? Because why else would you do that? We could have the Usos in the New Day every single week if they wanted to do that. But the fact that they had the Usos destroy the knee of Kofi Kingston would not surprise me if we don't see Kofi next week. Could we see on the road to Survivor Series Xavier Woods versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship? Of course, that's just another person to feed to Roman Reigns, but I think that's where they're going. Because they could have easily had the Usos do both, like take both guys out. But yeah, I think that's where we're going. Is they're going to have those two in a match sometime soon. Hold off Drew McIntyre, hold off Jeff Hardy, hold off anyone else. This looks like we're getting King Woods versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. But that is your Rampage and SmackDown review. Rampage was pretty damn good. SmackDown was meh. Outside of Drew and Ricochet, which was fine. The Roman Reigns New Day stuff was pretty good too. Everything else was just meh. And I still don't get the Naomi and Sonya Deville thing. It's just like, why do you have a vendetta? You don't say, oh, I'm trying to light this fire into this person's ass and then pull all the shit that you're doing. I don't know, but that is your reviews for tonight. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me online at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club, and find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I will see you guys on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.